Hello, small group leaders. We've put together a short series of videos to help you build life-giving community. And in this video, we are talking about building a system of care. Not long ago, I was out of town while my wife was at home with our 3 kids. And while I was away, my youngest had to be taken to the emergency room. And since we don't have a lot of family in the area, there were questions about what to do with the 2 other kids while she went to the hospital. Well, our small group stepped in. They took care of them until midnight when she got home. And in similar ways, our small group has continued to step up and care for one another in similar situations. And the other night, we were hanging out with some of the people in our group, and my oldest son was sitting there, and he said, "It seems like whenever someone in our group is in a jam, we help each other out." Well, the adults all looked at each other and grinned, and one of my friends said, "That's exactly the way it's supposed to work." As a director of adult ministry, I've seen groups take care of each other when a family goes through a death, when a new baby is born, at the loss of a job, and many more in between. Creating a system of care is essential to the life of the church. And we think the best way to care for people is in the context of a small group. And that means for us, small groups for kids, students, and adults. Because one person cannot care for an entire community alone. There's a story in the Bible about Moses, who was so overworked trying to care for the needs of the nation of Israel that he was wearing himself out because the demands were so many. And it was then that his father-in-law Jethro comes to him and says, "What you are doing is not good." Moses agreed, and they devised a system of care that we have adopted at Community. And here's a look at our system. You'll notice the Roman numeral X. That's the number for 10, and it represents a small group leader. Each small group leader oversees about 10 people in his or her group. Now that could be up to 15 or 20, but beyond 15 is not ideal because then it's not really a small group. The L, the Roman numeral for 50, stands for a coach. And a coach can oversee up to 5 leaders, with each leader overseeing about 10 group members. So really, a coach oversees about 50 people. Amber is one of the coaches in our women's ministry. And she cares for leaders by checking in with them before the group starts in the fall. She makes sure that they have everything they need for a successful kickoff. And she may also visit those small groups so that she has context for when she discusses the group with her leaders. In addition to that, she has a one-on-one with her leaders to discuss the group and to go through the coaching handbook questions. She continues to check in throughout the small group term, and her leaders know they can text, email, or call her at any time if they have questions or concerns about their group. And, of course, she prays for them. The D is a staff person. A staff person oversees 5 or more coaches. And all of our small group directors, they meet with coaches who are overseeing up to 5 group leaders. As small group directors, we meet with our coaches monthly to strategize, to discuss any questions or concerns that they may have, and of course, we pray for them. Now, a staff person cares well for coaches, so that coaches will care well for leaders, so that leaders will care well for group members, most of whom are a part of our church at our various locations. And we see that as mission critical. Okay, so you might be sitting there thinking, well, that's great, but what does it look like on the ground to care for one another within this structure? Well, we do that primarily through one-on-ones. A one-on-one is an hour-long relational time for leaders to connect with one another. And that one-on-one is facilitated by asking 6 coaching questions. The first question is, how are you? Number 2, where are you winning? Number 3, what challenges are you facing? Number 4, what will you do about them? And number 5, how can I help you? And finally 6, how can I pray for you? Of course, there will always be times when caring for someone goes beyond this coaching meeting. Sometimes a group leader has to mobilize group members to meet the needs of a grieving member of the group, or they might need to help out a family during a financial crisis, or even help a single mom find work. And that's how we care for one another. It's a big job that's too big for one person or even a handful of people. But if we create a system of care, we create a community where no one has to stand or lead alone.